Hello and welcome to the mid-quarter update from Horizon Investments. My name is Austin Fitch and I'm joined here today by our CIO, Scott Ladner. Excited to get into the conversation and really excited to be back with you all again. For those of you that were with us for our quarterly update a little over a month ago, Scott, we talked a lot about the macro environment and just all the things that we were seeing there. I think the narrative has changed a little bit, and it's not as much macro; it's a little bit more micro these days. Right?
Yeah, and look, and for more of a macro guy like me, that's not the most comfortable place to be. But the world has changed. Yeah. Clearly the micro side of the world matters a lot more right now than the macro side does. We talked a lot about AI being more important than oil last quarter, and oil still doesn't really matter that much. But certainly company fundamentals and earnings and credits and everything else like that, those are things that are really driving markets right now.
You talk about earnings and fundamentals, Scott. What we've seen just in the last month and a half from an earnings standpoint is something that we probably haven't seen in quite some time and doesn't normally happen in this type of market environment. Right?
No, look, we continue to get earnings results that are astounding. Especially for this part of the quote unquote cycle. Right. People think that we are late cycle in this market, and we're getting earnings that are more like you get coming out of a recession. The kind of both revenue, top line and bottom line earnings growth that we're seeing, and it's not just the tech companies. It's a lot of different sectors in the economy. Is really pretty astounding.
You talk about it's not just the tech companies. I think that also points to the fact that there is value in picking some individual stocks, individual names when it comes to this market too, right?
100%. We've seen that in the market so far this year, really this quarter. Individual stocks are getting either rewarded or punished based on their individual results. We're not getting the place where one company in a semiconductor company reports and the entire semiconductor space either benefits or gets killed by it. It is each individual company really matters right now, and investors are being very discerning how they're looking at those types of things.
Yeah, you talk about investors and discernment. Let's pivot a little bit, and we will back it out to something that is historically considered macro. Let's talk a little bit about the Fed, right? Because that has been a hot button topic for the last little bit. What are we seeing there? How have things changed? How has the communication changed? What should we expect on a go-forward basis from the Fed?
Well, we're seeing the market test a new Fed chair because we always see the market test a new Fed chair. This is not new. This has been happening for 40 years. You get a new Fed chair, the market's going to have some sort of fit about something. Right now, the market's having a bit of a fit about how does Worst communicate, and obviously pulling a forward guidance is fine. What he's trying to do is fine. It is just going to create some additional volatility as the market gets used to this idea that they're not going to sort of communicate cuts or hikes ahead of schedule. The biggest challenge right now the Warsh is having is on the communication side of things, because he's got to, it's okay to not have forward guidance. It's not really okay to not have forward guidance and not have a framework. Or sort of communicate what the framework is that the Fed's going to use to sort of figure things out. So he's got to sort of figure out one of those things to talk about, and I think it's going to be the framework side. We're likely going to get that in Jackson Hole.
Got it. I think we're maybe a little bit more excited to talk fixed income these days because of some new expertise that we have on the team. Scott, maybe tell us a little bit more about what that looks like from a strategy standpoint, what that looks like with some of the additional resources that we now have given our recent acquisition of Anfield Capital.
Yeah, look, this is a stock picker's market right now, as we were talking about earlier. Yeah. Having individual security analysts, individual ideas about what's going on, what's driving companies on the earnings side for stocks, super important. Got to have it right now. On the fixed income side, I'd say it's the same thing. This is a credit picker's market right now on the fixed income side. You have to have the ability to look at individual companies, individual credits, individual loans and bonds, and sort of the covenants they're in, and figure out what's the right places to be. This team gives us that type of expertise as being basically a credit picker's market, and they're going to, I think, shine in that respect.
Yeah, and I would say we now have access to a few strategies that are, they play in that multi-sector bond space. So to your point, they can really take that expertise and kind of go to a bunch of different areas of the market in terms of that credit space. Is that the right way to think about it?
Yeah, and look, and this is an expertise we've never had at the firm. We haven't had a strong sort of credit background, sort of strong fundamental credit selection, research inside of our shop. And so not only having that inside the portfolios, but having frankly added to our research staff, and our best ideas meetings and our research meetings, and informing the rest of the team about what are they seeing in the credit world. that's going to be a really additive to our entire investment process.
Awesome. Good stuff. Awesome. Really appreciate everybody joining in for this mid-quarter update. Stay tuned as we'll hopefully be putting more of these out in the coming months. And as always, don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions between now as we get closer to the end of the quarter. We'll be back with you again as we head into the fourth quarter. But for now, hope everybody has a great first few months of fall. Thanks.